right, getting started. So usually there's a bit of a there's a few moments in between my pre-stream uh, program and when I actually start the stream for real. So I'll pour myself a cup of coffee and I'll wait for chat to confirm that I'm live once again. Cool. It looks like I am back live. I'll just take a quick peek at my video preview. Things look good. All right, so let me take a sip of coffee and then we'll get started. Hey, everybody. Hi, I'm Joshua. Today is February 26, 2017, and today I am working on my video game Delver, which you can see behind me is the website, delvergame.com. Delver is a procedurally generated dungeon crawler with fantasy and role-playing and first-person shooter elements in it. Delver is created by two people, and I'm one of them. The other person is Chad. We work on this game in our free time. We are not full-time developers on this project. This is what we do when we have the time. Chad has a day job, and I am a stay-at-home father, so that keeps us both pretty busy throughout the normal working week. But I take time every Sunday to stream development, to show you folks how I work, and to talk about like kind of the state of the project, where it's headed, how things are going, and I just field questions about the project and game development in general. Let's take a hey chat. Hey, thanks everybody. So it looks like Hawaii Beach, Out of Pumpkin, Javier, Android U. Hey folks, thank you for coming to hang out with me while I work. So Steve, I guess Delver is on early access. I guess I forgot to mention that. So you can support us either on Steam or on Humble. That would be great. If you want to wait till we release, we will be hitting the full 1.0 release sometime later this year. I keep promising it, so I better make good on that. So let's take a look. One of the things I do is I just typically go to my repo and do a git status, or not git status, a git log. Make sure I'm up to date. Yeah, so I'm up to date. That's cool. I just do a git log and I kind of just review. Whoa, where'd my mouse go? There we go. Kind of just do a review of this last week in development and kind of talk about the changes that went in and kind of preview them, and then we'll get down to work. Okay, so it's just a git log, one line, since a week ago, and then some pretty printing to kind of see, to make it easier to parse what's going on. Let me slide it out from underneath my head here. A little bit more room. It's been kind of a slow week. I've just been really quite busy with the kiddo. For those of you who are regulars, my daycare situation. For a few months now, I've had a lady who was watching my son a couple times a week, so I could get some extra hours of work in. And she gave her notice, and that is no longer the situation. So I'm kind of back to full-time dad and trying to sneak in development whenever I can. So that's kind of my situation right now. Yeah, Tengu Knight, you are not super late. No worries. Actually, Android U, I used the GitHub app for the most part. I think I've already, let me just double check, but I'm pretty sure I did just a sync recently. But even still, git status should still tell me if I am up to date or not, which I am. So it looks like so cool. So Chad fixed some copy and paste stuff in the editor, which is nice. So copy paste editor preserves the height of the entity from the floor, so that's nice. Guns no longer play double fire sounds. I guess I didn't realize that they were, but I'm glad he straightened that out before we really let folks get into that. So level exits are data driven now. There's a theme info.dat. That's cool. Let's take a peek at that and see if we can figure out what he means by that. Let's even so. Oh, cool. So it just allows you to specify um, a, a tile index and for your up and down. I was running into a little bit of an issue with that because it was assuming, I guess, that the up and down tile was always from a specific texture atlas and was a specific ID, and that was not always the case when you're defining your own texture atlases for your custom dungeon areas. Um, Tigger Knight says, would you like to add some endless mode at some point? It would double the replayability. Um, we're not going to add an endless mode. We are hoping that through mods, folks, you can with through mods, folks can add additional dungeon levels. I mean, if you wanted to, also you could just go in and you could just, if you look at assets, data, I'm sorry, generator, like for example, dungeon, and this section .dat. Um, right now, the dungeon section is 2 floors, but I mean, you could easily make that, it's an arbitrary integer, so 200, 2000. I mean, if you wanted endless, we could just, you could just have tons and tons of floors. Like endless mode wouldn't be too hard to mod in, actually. Yeah, I might, if I have time, which I really don't. Modding in endless mode wouldn't be hard. It wouldn't technically be endless. It would be whatever the int max is for a 32-bit process, which is pretty big. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, so having a data-driven exit is nice, so that way players can, when you're creating a custom texture for your dungeon, you can say this is the texture used for the up exit and the down exit. And these in let me see. Oh, come on, Photoshop. Why are you so slow? Yeah, I guess is it the Photoshop or my mouse? I think my mouse is dying. Yeah. Um, let's do Delver assets. And this is the texture sheet. It's the old one, it has everything in it. But if you notice, we have these. Basically, it's a hole with a board around it, and that just is the up and down texture. They can be unique if you want them to be for your area. Um, it's up to you. I updated the git ignore. I think that was just from I forget what that was from. I think probably because I keep putting the mods into the source um, the source directory, and I just wanted to ignore that. And the chat also added a spawner entity, which is cool. Like there's like you can have better spawners now that can, if I remember right, they can do like items and yeah, so this item spawner. He also, I think, in the entities, there's a item spawner, monster spawner, entity spawner, which is cool because the entity spawner is super generic. That could be anything. So let's launch Delve Edit and let's play around with these spawners. Tingu Knight 42 says, sorry for the bad grammar. I meant, when is the next update going to come out? The next update is scheduled to come out sometime next month. And I think we're in a decently good place to do that. I don't want my mod work to hold that up, so I guess I'm going to chat with Chad and see when seems like a good time and if there's any additional fixes we need to get in. Let me just create this and that, and then he added, I think, a new class of things called spawners. Let me take a look. Where did he put that? He put it in. Yeah. So am I just not seeing it? Spawners. Item spawner. Oh, cool. Is there? Okay, so. Oh, cool. Yeah. So that just creates a random piece of melee loot, which is nice. Um, I think we've had this capability for a while. It's just nice to actually have it in the editor and make it easy to deal with. Yeah. Ooh, wow. That is really cool. You can actually change the condition. Oh, that's super handy. So Adaponkian says, you saw the Pulse Studio guy. Yeah, yeah, I guess to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, so you're the second person to tell me about that. So apparently there's a developer who is using some of our art assets or has derived from our art assets without our permission. And he's running a Kickstarter, so we've contacted Kickstarter to let them know that he's using our property without permission, and hopefully it's not a big to-do. I know he stated that it's temporary assets, um, and I guess that's fine as long as you don't like have them up on your Kickstarter trying to promote yourself with our assets. That just feels a little um, like a not fair usage, right? Yeah, no, like so. Hopefully, again, we don't want to get litigious. We just want him to not use our assets for temp assets. There are plenty of free assets out there that you can use until you actually get your project going. And I know he is talking with artists. No, no, like there's no reason to get all banana shape about it. Like he wants to make a procedural fantasy dungeon crawler. You know what? Cool. Like there is plenty of room for procedural fantasy dungeon crawlers in this world. Just please don't use our art without asking us. That's all. That's all. Um, more entity spawners. Entity spawners. Monster spawner. And this one's dungeon and thief. Yeah. So this is pretty straightforward. Um, so this is the theme. And that's the name. So I think you could do Druid, I think is a name. So, whoop, yep, that creates a Druid all the time. And of course, the usual properties. So it's really handy to have. And then I think lastly, he added a entity spawner, um, which I think just creates any entity, which is really powerful. Um, maybe. Spawn sound, spawn spread velocity. Let's have to hook this up to something. Let me try adding a trigger to this. So right here, place entity, triggers, basic. No, that was a mover. Come on, Joshua. Triggers, basic. There we go. So this will be, the idea of this will be called spawner. And then this triggers ID spawner. And the trigger type is any touched is fine. And so basically when I walk through this, it should spawn. I think if I go up here and go to view, toggle collision boxes? No. I think I have to go down here temporarily and make it solid. There we go. And then I can kind of play around with making this a big, if you wanted to make it like a really big volume, like if I wanted to make it so you can't like sneak around it. Let me see if that's wide enough. Yeah, so this would basically, you'd have to, like you couldn't get away from it, right? So if I walk, oh, so let's make it not physical anymore. So let's turn that off. It would, Chad, if you're watching, it would be really nice to visualize the triggers area even if it's not solid. Okay, cool. So now walk through. Okay, so we probably need to slow that down a bit, right? Because there's no reset time and it just instantly creates a skull. So let's reset time of 20. Is that seconds or milliseconds? Let's peek. Let's see what it does. It's pretty quick. It might be milliseconds. Javasaurus says, hello, hello, Javasaurus. Tengu says, do you know a game called Shattered Pixel Dungeon? I do not. Let me see. I didn't know that, Javier. Android U says, I see a Blender open. What kind of models do you make with the Blender for this game? Yeah, if you just answer that question real quick, I do have a Delver props.blend, which is just a big master file of all the Delver props, which is kind of cool. So let me just pop over to the defaults. Yeah, so some of these might be broken because I think why are they broken? Dungeon. Okay, those are cool. I think it might be that I point these directly to the repo assets, and if they get resized or changed, they break in Blender, and I have to fix the Blender stuff. Why is that? uh, Symbols, textures. I mean, that should be the textures for them. Open. Weird. It's acting like it can't get a hold of something. Oh, there we go. Oh, so Blender has this weird concept of like you can go to the UV editor and then so like if the shading type is multi-texture and then you go to the UVW editor and whatever you select in here gets applied, which is strange. I guess it kind of makes sense in some contexts. So this should be temple textures. There we go. But just simply, if you toggle that over to GLSL, then it will use the textures off of the material the way the material is defined, and then it just works normally, which is kind of a pain. So yeah, so what I do is when I'm kind of working on a fresh area, I'll make a few textures for the world, and I'll kind of block out a fake level. And then I start adding like props. So I added like these heads, and then these partial walls I just kind of reused from a different part of the dungeon. And I'm just trying to get a feel for what props may or may not work in here. And then of course the different layers have different, like these are the crumbling floors. And what else? Yeah, this is what I do is I will import this as a plane, and I'll make sure it's the correct number of columns and rows. And then I just I will chop it up. Actually, I can show you this process real quick. It's pretty easy. So if I go Shift A at Mesh Plane, and then if I go Scale X2, then I can snap this. Let me turn my snaps to increment, and then just get Y, and then get Y. And I can just go over here to UVW editing. Maybe this is where the multi-texture stuff actually makes sense. So tab A, then so I need to unwrap it first. So U, just unwrap. Maybe U project from view, and then here. Let me reset my cursor because it's in some strange location. So 0, 0, and then let me just kind of get this down here. Go to Shift S, snap selected to pixels, and then I just want to just let me scale this from my cursor since I got that position correctly. Scale it all the way up, and scale over in the X a little bit, and snap that again try to make sure that I got that correctly. I'm off by, looks like 1 on the X, so get X1. But now everything should be hunky-dory. Again, if I go over here, make it multi-texture. This is now correct because I've unwrapped it using this texture, which is weird, but that's Blender. And then what I do is I use Control R, and I'll cut this up. So you see the little magenta highlight shows like how many slices I'm going to do. So I'll make the appropriate number of slices for columns, and just let them default there, and then do the number for rows. And then what I can do is I can go into face mode, and I can hit Shift D to duplicate a face, and then P to separate the selection, and then I have this face isolated by itself, and I can just start blocking stuff out. Rotate X 90, get X Z 0.5, and then I can do stuff like if I want to. Actually, real quick, let me vertex. Cursor to selected, and then set origin to 3D cursor. And then now I can do stuff like I can hit Shift D, X1, and then just Shift R to repeat that, so I can kind of just start blocking out. I mean, that was my basic workflow of taking like a texture tile set and then start blocking it out, you know. And then if I wanted to, I can grab all these. Then I can go here. Get Y 0.5, and then I can duplicate them, move them up on the Z1, rotate 90, and then I can just join all those together. And then over here, I can just manually position the face. So I can hit like get Y minus 32, and then get X minus 32, and then I'm quickly kind of blocking out like how I want my level to look. That's kind of the workflow process I do, taking a tiling texture to this kind of a 3D geometry that simulates what Delver looks like. So yeah, so that's, and this is just also I keep all my, I have different scenes for all the different assets. Again, I just try to build out little set pieces of what I think. What I think things ought to look like. Yeah, that's it. So Tigonite says there's a bug with the crusher and the traps in the lowest levels. The bug causes the crusher to trap impenetrable walls, happening twice. Crap. Okay, yeah, I think I know why this is happening. And I think I know how to fix it. Let's see. Let me see. If I remember correctly, let me open generator undead intersections 1. And okay, so this is an intersection with a 4x4 trap placed in the middle, and these traps are kind of pulled from a list, and which can generate them. So if I hit play a couple times, we'll try to find the one that Tingu Knight's talking about. Yeah. So I think the way I hook these up, I need to come back and visit, because I think you can do something like this. Yeah, so if a crusher gets an item underneath it, it potentially, it never stops. So maybe we could either fix this in code or fix this in the way it's rigged up, but there's a potential for it never. So if I were to take the stake, if I can grab the stake, it should fix it. It'll ruin the timing, but should, yeah. And that's what I think is happening there. Yeah, now the timing's all screwed up. So we need to figure out either with movers if they need to either when they hit something to reverse their direction, or I need to figure out how to fix. Maybe I can take a look at the trap, right? That might be an easier way to do it. So let's look at file. Let's say new 17 by 17, and let's just create a. Uh, and then we're going to place a entity, and I'm going to place a temple set, and it's one of the crushers. Crusher trap set piece 0. Let's see how that one behaves. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is probably definitely what Tengu is experiencing is something gets cut underneath this, and then this whole mechanism is broken. I think what I've done with the other ones. Let me just take a quick look. So place entity, temple sets, crusher trap set piece 1. This one's probably also. Yeah, this is probably also vulnerable to that. What about entity, temple sets, set crusher, set piece 2? Okay. Yeah, so for some of my traps, uh, so how this can work is a mover can trigger something. Um, um, yeah, so let me see. So Hawaii Beach, are you sure post guys stolen your textures? Yeah, they are uncomfortably close to where he's doing like it looks like he took my assets and changed the color and added a few pixels here and there. Again, I don't want to get like too in depth about it. Like I don't want to spread bad blood. Like yeah, no, this YouTuber called JFJ has been working on a trailer for us, which is pretty cool. He JFJ is way better at making trailers than we are, and he volunteered to help us out. So we certainly appreciate that. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Tengu says the trailer he made is way cooler than our current one. Yeah, totally. Uh, Again, like we're a small studio. We're two people trying to make the game, and like video editing is something neither of us really have any experience in. Again, I don't want to. Again, I'm not gonna. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see. Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Uh, Thank you for the kind words, Javasaurus. Like we are trying to make the best game that we can with the time and the resources that we do. And again, I'm done talking about that. Like I don't want to. I'm not going to get into fights. I'm just going to. I'm going to make the best stuff that I can, and that is all. Okay, so where were we? Actually, I haven't even played any Delver yet. Let's just play some. Let's play some Delver. Let's have some fun. Um, Real quick, let me just check something. I make sure I don't have any. Uh, Sometimes I have mod stuff in my, so I make sure my mods directory is empty, so I don't play any crazy version of Delver. Because we do have that crazy gun mod that kind of breaks Delver, but it's kind of fun. But I just want to show people vanilla Delver first. Cool. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am the art guy for this project. I do a little programming here and there, and my background is as a software engineer, but I really love art, and it's something I'm passionate about. So I've been really fortunate to make all the 2D and 3D art for this game. It's been a real joy. Okay. We've got this missile wand, which functions as basically like a machine gun. So if you haven't played Delver, with the recent wand update, we're kind of positioning wands as a first-person shooter weapon stand-in. There we go. The levels are procedurally generated. The levels are constructed out of rooms that either we build by hand or that the computer itself can build rooms now, which is pretty crazy. So if you see really odd rooms, that's probably the computer doing its thing. We kind of like that randomness, so that's why we keep it in, because you certainly see stuff that you would never see us make, and that's kind of a nice thing to have. We can balance out the percentages of that. So typically we like to have we try to figure out what a good mix between the handmade and the procedurally made rooms are. I think the best example of where this works best is in the ruins area, and that was because it was really an interesting back and forth between Chad working on the room generator and me actually building handmade rooms, and they kind of inspired each other back and forth. So I think that's the case where the computer generated rooms and the handmade rooms probably look the most similar. Let me see. Oh, cool. So Javasaurus says it's coding games themselves, and they're making a Mode 7 kart racer, which is totally cool. I love the obviously, if you're watching me play my game right now, I love old school lo-fi style graphics. It really is kind of my jam. I like the fact that for me, so pixel art has been around many years, and I think the technique, what separates good pixel art from bad pixel art, the techniques have been really kind of refined over the years. And I think if you make good pixel art games, I think they age pretty well. I think I don't know if they're timeless per se, but I think that they hold up a lot better than some of the stuff that's more cutting edge. And the kind of the practices might not be quite standardized. Why does it say stack? That's bugging me. Let me look at bow. Missile. So what happens is when the arrow hits an entity, we add an arrow to that entity's inventory, and I think we're just not naming it correctly. Missile. So it's not. It says if it's not an instance of the. Okay, so this is pickup. Okay. Hits. Okay. Hit world. Try to figure out where do we actually. Somewhere we add this to the entity that it hits. You think that would be on the this is the can hit. This is collides with. Let me take a look at monster. Do they? I think I added an inventory property. Loot. There we go. So monsters have a loot property. So they always will drop things in the loot, and they potentially could drop other stuff too. So in the missile, let's look for the usage of the loot property. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So add arrow loot to monster, of course. At least I named it something that is reasonably self-describing. So no plans for multiplayer. Like we've already spent 4 years working on this game in our free time, and like it has not been designed at all for multiplayer. And we've written our own engine, so I mean a lot of the decisions we've made kind of have led us down the path of making a single player game, and we're just trying to make it the best single player game that we can. I mean, I'd love to make a multiplayer project in the future, and it might be with Chad, it might not, who knows? But right now, we're just trying to finish up Delver. Let me see. Yeah, raycasting would be cool. I think, or I mean, I think we're even getting to the point now where you could probably simulate it pretty easily with shader work and render textures, maybe. I've always wanted to play around in Unity with something like that. Okay, so let me see. So we add arrow loot to monster. So if the monster's loot is null, we make a new array of items, which is reasonable. And we're checking to see if we've added the arrow. So we go through all the loot, we try to find an item stack, and they have the same stack type as that. I think maybe this is what I'm goofing up. Yeah, let me take a look at. I think it's entities. No, items. That. Let's look at items stack. So the name of the item stack here is arrow. So I need to if I create one for the monster, I need to make sure I set the property correctly. So that's on missile.java. New item stack. This name. Where's this name property coming from? That's missile.name. Oh wait, so that's item count stack type. So that's not actually the name, that's the stack type, which is okay, I guess. Let's just say stack name equals arrow. Oh, sorry. For some odd reason, my brain had switched into Python mode, and I was using single quoted strings and not double quoted. Or yeah. Yeah, that should be good. Let's stop and then let's play again and see if that fixes the issue. Yeah, we create the models in Blender. We export them as OBJ files, and we bring them into Blender that way. Because Blender has been the editor we've used since the beginning of the since Delver has had model support, one Blender unit and one Delver unit line up. Okay, so let me just cheat and give myself a bow and give myself some arrows. Okay, and then let's just create a monster. And of course it broke. Let's try that again. Yeah, arrows do have a chance of breaking, so of course when I'm trying to test a feature, they break. Cool. Arrow, perfect. Done. Let's check this change in because it'd be a nice little fix to have. Uh, arrows dropped by enemies. Preserve their game. Commit and sync. Hey, Chris. Hey, Himbond. OBJ. Oscar Bravo Juliet. Yeah, I'll show you how to do it real quick. Like if I were to do something like, let's fire up Blender. And really simply, I could go mesh, cube, front view. This will be a 2x2 cube. Just go File, Export, File, Export. And it's this wavefront.obj format. Make sure to tick selection only. We don't care about writing out materials, and you want to triangulate faces. Because Blender expects triangles and not quads or n-gons. And then you export that out somewhere. It doesn't matter. Okay, and then you come into the Delver editor. And you can right-click, add entity, miscellaneous mesh. Just pick one, or you can do basic. Basic model is fine. They'll give you the chair. Then up here, you can just change the path to point at like your mod directory or wherever you have put the assets. So I can make it table, and it picks up. And of course, you probably will have to change your texture as well. But that's kind of how it just pulls in these OBJ files as static meshes. Oh, hey, Full Studio. Thanks for stopping by. Let me see. Yeah. Himbond, yeah, OBJ, wavefront OBJ. Doing a flood fill and pixel overlay for my tracks to automatically load polygons. Yeah, no, I'm saying, so just to be straight up honest about it, I think your textures are dangerously close to the ones I've been using. Let me show you what I mean. Let me pull it up. Because here's Delver and Pexel side by side, and it's pretty darn similar, I would say. I mean, the style is definitely like, if you look at the fletching on the arrow, use the same similar shading style for the arrow. The bow has the same shape. This is a different frame animation. The way the string is shaded is the same. Even the little slime guy, again, the little highlight, the way I've done it is the same. I think you've changed some of the teeth around. I'm just saying it's just too close to be comfortable. Yeah, it's just too. Here, let me go just green. And of course, if you look at the, I don't want to get too much into this. I'm just saying, it looks like you've derived your textures from ours, and it makes us uncomfortable. I don't want people to harass you. I'm not trying to. No, like I said, no bad intentions. I'm just saying it looks way too close to ours for comfort. Um, like namely the bows and the couple of the enemies, the swords and the wands. Yeah, like again, like I'm glad you're doing a cool thing in a similar space. Just please don't derive art from our stuff. Uh, let me mute that. Um, yeah. So again, it looks like just the way the shading's done on this blade, it looks a lot like. Let me see. Open items. Looks a lot like one of our iron swords here. If I were to marquee select this guy, then copy, go in here and paste, and then let's make this into a smart object. Come on, Photoshop. And then I can Control T and scale it up. Oh, come on, don't do that, smart object. J rasterize layer. Let's turn on interpolation. Seriously, mouse? Here's neighbor. Then I can do a Control T, and then maybe a perspective. Or maybe Photoshop doesn't want to do perspective the same way I want to do. I can just do a Control T. Skew? I think skewing I could probably get something. Yeah, there we go. This can kind of fake how perspective looks. I'm just saying it looks uncomfortably similar. So hopefully you can understand where we're coming from. Yeah, but I mean, there's quite a few ways to draw things. The things that give me just like the usage of shading and sellout. I mean, again, once Pull Studio, once you replace the assets that look like they were derived from ours, like we don't care at that point. Um, hopefully, you can understand where we're coming from. Why is that hanging up there? Let's make stuff. Let's go to Delve Edit and file open. Actually, let's play around with. Man, I really need to finish the science fiction mod. It is taking way too long, and I just need to get this silly thing done. So, engineer, assets, mods. Um, and then repositories, GitHub, example mods. This Dungeon section advanced is what I'm playing with. So if you folks are Yeah, like if it was one asset, I wouldn't be so riled, but it's several assets that look very similar to ours. Oh, hey, Jonathan, how the heck are you? Cool. So let's make sci-fi crap, right? It'd be a nice switch from. Oh, that was okay. Yeah, run. Oh no! Oh no! Your kiddos are sick. Okay, so cool. So this is kind of where we left off. We're kind of working on these sci-fi stuff. Man, this the lighting doesn't look super great in the editor. Um, Again, I just need to get this done. I need to because again, I don't want to hold up the release on this. Um, oh no, stomach flu. Yeah, my fortunately my kiddo hasn't been too sick. He's had a couple fevers, but nothing super terrible. I think I did a haul. Was that right? The next one was the haul. Oh yeah, I never really got this quite to where I like it, but I'm just gonna have to suck it up and just drive on. Just try to get this as decorated as I can. Um, Thanks, Javasaurus. Yeah, this is just we're trying to show off what you can do with the Delver. Let me put this down too. This was give me some problems last time. What stuff can be done with the Delver editor? This will be a mod that you can just slot in and get crazy sci-fi levels for Delver. Just cause like there's no real good reason for it. We're just doing it because I've been making fantasy art for years now, and sci-fi felt like a nice change. Let me grab the texture there, turn off pin adjacent, and just real quickly. I just want to. Oh, that's why I did that. Because I don't want the. How do I fix that? How do I fix that? Because I don't want the going all the way down. I have it fixed on the other side, right? Yeah. Nope, it's the same issue on the other side. I'll just have to live with it. Oh well. Again, I don't want to hold up the release for this stuff, so I just want to get it completed and get it done. So this is just a hallway. You come on one side, you just run through the other side. I'm just trying to add some blocking elements. Added some of these. I'm kind of going with this mechanical infestation look. So it has like these kind of these ominous red lights that kind of pop up here and there. Um, Maybe. Cool. Yeah, thank you for the kind compliments, folks. This sci-fi stuff has been really cool to make, and again, I just trying to keep it fun. Because like working on a project for so long can really it can be really tough. Maybe I'll just add. I'm just going to add. Just kind of play with shapes here. Just kind of block stuff out for no good reason really, other than just having some variety. I think, or maybe the other way around. Maybe I can make some sort of weird skylight feature. Up or down, down, up, down. There we go. Just trying to add some variety to how these levels look. Um, if you notice on the textures, I try to make sure that the little lines line up with nice increments, so that way the editor kind of just naturally snaps to them and it looks correct, which is a handy little trick to do when you're making textures for especially for mechanical stuff like this. maybe I want to do some kind of cool light because remember we set up the gen infos to create lights. So trying to think about what the lights might look like. Maybe some sort of pattern. Yeah, again, like once, like I know Pulse Studios is intending to like hire an artist and replace their assets, and like once their game has a its own look, no beef. Um, yeah, the editor was also like we created for better or for worse, we wrote our own engine and our own editor. So like it does exactly what we need it to do, which is cool. Um, like the downside being that we get nothing for free, but like for the type of game we're making, like the tools are very specialized to that, which is nice. Um, I don't know what I'm doing. Stupid sci-fi stuff, I suppose. Hawaii says, I heard that I've previously been a teacher. I think he's referring to the fact that he found an old YouTube video of mine. Um, at university, I got to help teach a class, which was really cool. Uh, that's not, oh crap, that's not going to do what I wanted to do. No. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do. And yeah, so there was a professor who, I don't know, he really kind of took me under his wing, which I really appreciate. And he let me be his assistant for 2 classes. And for one of them, I actually got to lecture, which was really a cool opportunity. And I got to teach the students game development, which was, I don't know, I was really, really, that was like my first time really teaching and teaching other people game dev. This is like a lifetime ago, it feels like now. But they made some really cool stuff. Yeah, I think that works out okay. I think I can just do this and hit Control C and then go over here and hit Control V. Nope, Control V. Yes! Thank you, Chad, for fixing up the copy and paste of tiles. Nice. So that went okay. See you, Tim. Good night. Okay. So we got the lights here. Got the weird thing going on there. Again, just trying to add small, subtle just height variations to make it interesting. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't really make a lot of sense. Again, I'm just trying to get through these. They don't have to be super awesome. They just have to be functional enough to kind of illustrate to folks what can be done. Yeah, no. If one of my viewers did anything untoward, I certainly don't condone it. Um, like again, like I've met with many, like I've met with the Eldritch folks or the Eldritch guy. I've met with um, the team Hitbox who's working on a procedural first-person game. Um, like there is a lot of games in this space now, and I think there is plenty of room for all of us. And I think it's a really cool place to be. And I have no problems talking shop, like how like generation is done, and different techniques and stuff. Like I'm all for the sharing of information. Again, just trying to figure out how to block off some of this Viz stuff. Um, I try not to. I really don't like having these tight corridors. Um, and for some odd reason, I'm pasting lights. Yeah, so Pixel's Alt Zone says any engine features that haven't been used in Delver. So that's why I created the gun mod. Is the guns had been in Delver for a while and we had never used them. So I created a mod just to show folks that they exist and give them a couple of good examples of how they can be used. That's true. The Stray folks are making a procedural sci-fi first-person shooter. I know Tom and Steven personally. They are really rad folks. Occasionally, their artist Nick will pop into my stream and talk shop. He was giving me a lot of grief when he saw I was making sci-fi elements. But no, Strafe is totally cool. You folks should go take a look at it if you haven't already. Okay. This is going to have to be good. Let me just file save, and let's start looking at another piece. So I'm just trying to do these generator pieces in order of how likely I think they are going to be found. Um, um, so typically halls and intersections. Corners are probably pretty common too, though. Yeah. Yeah. So I think Chris might be referring to the Strafe game has a pretty crazy trailer where a kid's head explodes. Um, uh, I don't know if it's that intense, but it is pretty cool. It's like a procedural. It's like a Quake 2 kind of feel because they have colored lighting and all that good stuff. I've got to play a few builds of it, and it's pretty cool. I enjoy it. Unfortunately, my laptop here um, isn't powerful enough to play the build they floated me, because it's in an unoptimized state. I mean, it can play it. It's just not ideal. I wouldn't want to show something of theirs that I don't have permission to show, and that it would be a less than ideal experience. Hawaii Beach says, "Is Delver my job?" Sort of. Um, so right now I am a stay-at-home father. So most of my day I spend just with my son and doing parenting stuff. When I can, I work on Delver. To better phrase it, Delver is my only income, which is hard. So I guess that I mean it is a job, but it's not my I don't know. It's hard to describe what it really is. Like, luckily my wife can support us. It's just things are tight while I'm trying to get things figured out. Yeah, Dusk looks interesting too. Dusk is not procedural though. From what I understand, Dusk has a fixed set of levels. It is definitely going for the Quake vibe. Okay, I need to do something with this, and I want to do something with this sweet. So here, look, we made a cool um slime texture, which kind of unfairly poisons you and hurts you at a pretty fast rate. So you don't really ever want to go into it. Hmm, let me. Can we do something like this? I recall Doom had some interesting areas with slime. But the question is like, uh, there we go. Do I make the player run through it or not? Or do I make use of that catwalk we made a few streams ago? Uh, let me see. Yeah, so because my daycare situation fell through, we're trying to figure out. We want to get our son into daycare so I can actually maybe work more on Delver and potentially pull in contract work. But right now, again, my main gig is watching my son, which I'm extremely fortunate. It's an awesome uh, opportunity. Um, Again, I won't. I won't. I'm not going to speak ill of any game. I don't understand. I haven't had a chance to play Dusk. I've only ever seen it like in passing. I think I saw it at maybe PAX. Um, so how deep is too deep? Place prefab example meshes catwalk. You just try to get this. Uh, Ooh, I like the waterfall effect there. Hmm. Yeah, thank you for the kind compliments about the Delver editor. So if you have purchased if you have purchased Delver, we do give you the editor right alongside it. So wherever the Delver binary lives, there should be a delvedit.jar, and you can edit the rooms like I'm doing right now. I don't think it's quite lined up. There we go. Is the Z off? Oh, sometimes it's a little goofy with the Z. You see it? Not sure why. There we go. Cool. Um, uh, yeah, so if you bought this 3 or 4 years ago, um, so if you bought it through Steam, sure, the latest update will give you all the latest bits. If you bought it through Humble, again, you should get a Steam key through Humble. But yeah, I think we've always packaged the editor with the binary. So yeah, you should just poke in there and see if you got it. Pretty sure you do. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe lower. I'm not sure. Maybe this is some sort of like, I don't know what this is. Maybe pull this down a little. Maybe I can pull the ceiling way up. I'm just trying to create an interesting space is all I'm really trying to do. Let's do maybe something like that to give myself room to like make some sort of little fancy thing around the edges there. So let's pull that up a unit or so. And I think what I want to do, keep paint adjacent on. I want to change the upper wall to this repeating texture here. There we go. Then I can fix this stuff here in the middle in a second. But I just want to do this. And the nice thing about this editor too is since I'm starting here in this tile with the correct height, I can just go over and make my selection. And when I hit enter, it will paint it and also match the height of the floor and the ceiling. So this can be useful when you're trying to block stuff out and keep all the heights consistent. Because trying to do it by hand and doing it like tile by tile is super. I've done it before, but it's very tedious and frustrating. Sure. Again, this is all about like, yeah, programming questions are totally welcome here. And I tend to have some talented game dev folks hanging out here in chat, both artists and programmers and all sorts of folks. So yeah. Okay, cool. Maybe. It's one of those things where if you take the time to make a custom engine, you would like, I guess it would be nice to actually get more usage out of it than a single game, but like we don't like, the future is uncertain. It kind of depends on how how our lives look at that point in time. It depends on like how well Delver does as a a product. I mean, but I really like, Delver Engine does have its limitations, but I think you can still make really cool stuff inside of those limitations. And maybe just trying to break this stuff up again. If I added a pillar here, what would that look like? What if it was a sci-fi cabling that's kind of going everywhere? There we go. So yep. Engine reuse definitely. You don't want to keep reinventing the wheel each project because it's just simply like for like our time and resource purposes, it's just not viable. Okay. So I think I'm going to just kind of keep going on with this weird like pipe infestation thing I have going on. So I'm just going to keep going with that. Make the ceiling pipe. Oh, no, turn off paint adjacent. That always gets me. Okay. And then make yeah, that should be good. So what I'm going to do is just kind of do the stuff I have been doing, I suppose, where I'm just going to pull the ceiling down. So it definitely kind of intrudes the view. And it makes it feel like this stuff is just kind of everywhere. Oh, and now I'll play with some angles and try to see if I can make it more interesting. Oh, come on. Let's make a selection here. Yeah, sometimes these static meshes can get in the way, so I'm just going to delete them temporarily until I get this chunk figured out. It's too big. Let me just do this. Let me push that up. Again, just playing with the heights of things. Just try to add visual interest. Some interesting programming discussion going on in chat. Looks kind of to be mostly around a flood fill algorithm, which is kind of I guess a classic computer science like problem to solve, because it illustrates, I believe, the stack data structure very nicely. Maybe pull this guy down just a little bit. Okay, what does it look like when there's lighting on it? It looks cool. It looks like a techno mess, which I guess is okay. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay. Then maybe I'll add another weird thing here. Something like that. Yep. Because I want the far one to be down, just so you can see the height variety when I actually pull this whole thing down. So let me go ahead and pull that down like that. Okay. Chris is asking for a short explanation on how to make notes work if I have time. Um, what do you mean, Chris? Like, how are notes not working for you? You should just be able to right click, basic notes, and then you just update the texture. So, what is broken for you about that? How to make them appear during gameplay? Okay, yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, let me finish working on this room, and then I'll play around with that. Actually, do you mind if I take a quick break? Um, and I'll be right back. I'll be streaming for 3 hours today, so we're about at the halfway point. So I'm just gonna take a small break, just to slam some food in my face, and I'll be right back. Nope. Yeah. We'll be back at 13:26 today. I really like. I guess I really need to fix how this little thing works, but again, I don't really want to invest a lot of time into it. There we go. Uh-oh. Am I back? Oh no! Can you? Okay. Uh, Looks like my camera's frozen. Can you folks see me? Am I streaming actually? Hello? Weird. Yeah. I've noticed this happens sometimes in the past. So cool. Can you folks, if you folks can hear me all right, I'm not going to worry so much about the camera then. Hmm. Just trying to fiddle with my broadcasting stuff. Sweet. Thanks. Yeah, because I think the rest of this stuff probably is. Yeah, I think it's. Yeah. Um. Let me try unplugging and plugging it back in. Right. That's a thing. Okay, plug it back in and see if that makes it work. If it doesn't, then I don't know what I got. Logitech. Deactivate. Activate. Is it back? Is it back? Is it working? Weird. Okay, cool. Okay, time to put. This is you folks. This is the chat. This is so I remember to talk to you folks. It goes right behind my webcam, so I can look you in the eye when I talk to you. There we go. Perfect. Nope, I cannot do anything right. I mean, I've considered buying a nicer microphone setup, but like, is it really worth the money I'd throw at it? Maybe, maybe not. Because I probably could get just a decent mic with like a pop screen and all that crud, but like I guess the the I don't know, like my streaming really isn't an end into itself. It's really just to for me to talk about game dev. Of course, I made the selection. Oh wait, no, that's fine. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. So Pixel Titans Alt Zone said, "Am I rubber ducky debugging?" Which is exactly what that is. I have a buddy who is he's a World of Tanks streamer. He gave me this tip is so what they're referring to is um, like when you're debugging code and you're having a hard time, like you if you explain it to the rubber ducky, that actually changes how you think about a problem, and it can be a useful tool in just debugging code. But what I do is I use it as a thing to look at. Like like if you're not used to streaming, knowing to look at a camera every so often, especially when you're talking, is odd. So having this little rubber duck to talk to when I talk to chat is helpful. At least it draws my gaze in the correct direction, rather than me just my normal staring at the screen and mumbling. Cool. Nice. I'm just going to keep on plugging away at this, try to get it done. Try not to worry about it too much because it doesn't matter a lot. It's just here to serve as an example for the community if they are so inclined to make cool content. Nice, but I don't want to like, because I've already spent way too much time on it. I just need to get it done-ish. Okay, that's cool. And again, so if you folks are so inclined, let me just pop it up here real quick. I have a, if you go to github.com/joshua.skelly/delver-example-mods, I have some mods that live out here that kind of give you an idea of how to do things. And I'll put this stuff out there. So if you want to add more, if you want to play around with it and add more levels, feel free to submit a pull request. If you notice out here, I also have both the Spanish and French language packs. The Spanish one is done by Javier, or the Labolial, in chat there, and then this French one is done by Louis Carl, who is Louis Carl Actual in chat. And I've been really, really, I guess, thankful and fortunate they're willing to pitch in and help out. So yeah, if you want to see stuff like here, somebody wants to have like good delve edit video tutorials. I totally agree with them, so I'm leaving this open until I add video tutorials. But if you want to see certain things, you can create an issue, or you can certainly just fork this repo, add the stuff you want, and then just submit a pull request, and I'll work with you and we'll get it put in. But yeah, so this resource is out there for you to look at, to make mod content, to do all kinds of interesting things. It does require the latest version of Delver, which is not released yet. So again, I'm just going to play around with heights, try to get this looking interesting, and then call this corner good. Unfortunately, it might be like, generally I try to make stuff semi-generic, so when you see it a lot, it doesn't seem to be so repetitive, but something this unique probably will feel a little repetitive, but I'm going to have to just be okay with that. Like again, my time and resources are very limited, so I just have to be like careful on how I use it. Looks like Devolver Digital's hosting me, which is really rad. Thank you. I really appreciate that. The interactions I've always had with Devolver have been very kind. I've always appreciated that. A few years ago, I sat down with them and spoke to them about potentially publishing Delver, and they gave me some really good, candid advice. And from a less scrupulous publisher, it might have gone a different way. Okay. Let me just slam down some lights here. Even though the green's going to be probably quite a bit, let's just see if we can prefab, example meshes, floor lamp. There we go. And just slam a few of these down. Cool. So Javier is he's finishing up a mod that adds two-handed swords and two-handed axes. That's crazy. Oh man. Yeah. I know. That I'm really eager to see the folks' content when they put it out on the store. Like I don't know. Like it always warms my heart with the crazy stuff people make. It's gonna be okay for now. Seriously? Okay, let me just get a, like my mouse died again, so let me just get a wired mouse and just go that direction. I don't think we have no intention of planning. I guess I got some dust bunnies flying up in front of the camera. We don't really want to support code-based mods. We're mostly just aimed at doing content-based mods. To be honest, that's something I think we need to look into, like the mod content, make sure that we only whitelist certain things. Again, because I don't want it to be. Steam may have recommendations on this too, but I don't want it to be potential like vector for malicious stuff. So we're just going to just support just content mods. Okay, so that's the corner. So actually, we can play this real quick. It's not going to be super exciting. File, save. What? What's going on? I don't know what's going on with that, but maybe my mouse? Who knows? Let's just play a little bit of Delver, and this stuff should already be integrated in, so let's give it a spin. Oh, crap. Sorry, Chris. Let me... crap. Yeah, I totally got... Thank you for reminding me. I totally got sidetracked on that. I know... you should be able to... You should go in the items.dat. This is what the loot... This is when you get random junk in the dungeon. This is what gets pulled from that. Oh, sorry, Chris. Yeah, I apologize. Like you've been asking me about it, and I keep meaning to talk about it, but I haven't. I apologize. So Hemon says, do you think you'll add in additional systems for mods to use that might not necessarily be used by Delver? I don't know. To be honest, not really. Like, I think we're just mostly sticking to content-based mods. Again, we're just trying to keep things simple. What was I doing? Oh yeah, let's play this and just take a look at our sci-fi stuff right now. It's probably not a lot to look at, but let's take a peek anyways. I feel like there we go. So erase, and because we have this this mod installed, it should just go ahead and just slot itself right into the dungeon. So it's defined to come in right after the first dungeon level. So you have Dungeon 1, Dungeon 2, you have this shopkeeper area, and then should go right to Sci-Fi Example 1. And then here, like I've made it so there are some procedural elements. So like these tiles will create lights on them. These pipes will create a combination of more pipes and lights. And we'll probably just have it empty. Yeah, I need to get rid of the doors. Let's give ourselves a scroll of haste so we can just kind of scoot around the map real quick. And try to figure out... Yep, so here's a straight hallway. Again, we get just some of these things. I think this area looks okay. This is the new area I was working on earlier in the stream. Again, not super loving it, but I just, for example purposes, I need to get through it. More of that. Wow, there's no... Looks like there was no corner. Real quick, you can... Now, we added a new item recently that is... basically, it's a auto map. So I think it's called the Scroll of Discern Reality, which is a very fancy name for... just it shows the whole map. And that's a very simple level. Let me quit and erase and play again. Um, so Heme we do have. You can create doors that take keys. It's just that the keys aren't unique per se. They're kind of like how just like keys like in Spelunky or Binding of Isaac work. That if you have one, it will open the door. But that is something we don't use that you can use right now. Again, scrolls, discern reality. Let's just start this one here and then look at the map. Oh yeah, this one has all kinds of scrolls of haste. Wow, did I get the wrong floor? Oh, okay, these are on. Okay, weird. Whatever. Okay, let's keep pushing on with this stuff. Yeah, I guess to my point, like, let me show how you would make a door with a key. So you can just do something like this. Again, I'm just going to block out a quick little level. It doesn't really matter. Then I'm going to add a entity. How about a door wood one? Okay. So this is just your standard door. You hit play. Actually, put some torches here and here. So you walk up to it, you hit use, it swings open. If you click on the door, there are some properties you can play with. Like you can have it slide up. So you could do something like that if you wanted. You could use this for like a more sci-fi style door. That's certainly a thing you can do. So the slide up, I think slide is just slide down. Let me see. Where's it slide over? That slide over. So I think this is how the secret, the hidden doors work currently, is they just slide. Again, you rotate up. I'm not sure what rotate up was intended for. It actually doesn't look like it's actually working. Interesting. But you can just say, is it locked or not? So yes, it is locked. So if I come up here, I should say, must open somewhere else. So this means you can't open it with a key, but it can open by a trigger. So if I go over here, place entity, triggers, and then basic, I can say this. The name of this thing is door. So this triggers door. And then use. So I guess I typically do like actor touched. It just, well, that way it'll open for both the player and the enemies. And you should just place it there. And when you walk up, it should. Oh, I need to debounce it. So basically, let's make this 100, so it takes a while for it to reset. So I'm not constantly like telling it to open. So that'll swing open. You walk through, and then when I walk through it again, it closes it. So that's something you can do. That's what it means to be locked. So like if I came from the other side, I couldn't open it, right? Because I haven't hit the trigger volume. It says it must open elsewhere. And this you can do this with switches or other ways of having it open without taking a key. But if you do, you can toggle takes key, true. And now I think it should say a different message. Yeah, it says locked. So this indicates that it does take a key. And you can just right click. We don't really use this, so it's kind of rough in game still, but I think you can just add a entity basic. There should just be a key hanging out somewhere here. It's not under doors, is it? No, door. I know I've done this before. Why can I not find it? Seriously? There is definitely a key somewhere in here. Let me take a look at the code. So you can do a marker type key. Let me just take a look. It should be in this right-click entities menu. Maybe it's not anymore. Weird. Well, let me add that just so you folks can get a hold of that. Let me door, and then let's do something just like. Let me stop this. Key. Okay, equals new key. Actually, real quick, let me do that. Nice. And I don't think does it take any params? It might not. Base entity dot add. Okay. And I think also I know Dakota's been bothering me about it, so I will add it real quick. I can do something like sword. Because he wanted wands too, I think. Let me just see how cluttered this makes things. Wand. Is bow here yet too? No, let's just add a bow too. Bow. So right click, entity, basic, yeah, so now we can add a door. You right click, entity, basic, key. And also I think entity, basic, now we also have sword, wand, and bow. In case you want to like play around with those, you have an easier way to get a hold of them. So now for this we can say takes key true, is locked true. And let me just place some torches real quick so we can see what we're doing. So you should be able to walk up here, locked, grab the key, and now you can unlock it. So there you go, Himbond. That's something that, I mean, if you notice, like our HUD is kind of broken. Like it used to be. We used to like have a special character for the percent symbol that was a key, but since I redid the fonts for the language support, I just made it a percent again. So, for example, I think it just creates multiple of these. Let's take a look. Now you can use alternate alt plus drag to create copies of things. So I think if I pick up multiple, yeah, it just keeps adding more keys across the bottom there. And then it just consumes them as you use them. So let me go ahead and just commit that real quick. Let me close this out. And then let me go to GitHub, changes. Let me just real quick make sure that the defaults for the key is okay. Because I just really quickly did it and I didn't see if like the name was messed up or anything. Because I want the defaults to be just pretty usable. So right click, entity, basic, key, play, get null. So let's just call it, instead of null, let's call it a key. So now get key. It's old art, but it's fine. Cool. So I think I just want to do something like up here where we create this new key and say k.name equals key. Out of curiosity, you always have to be careful when you're using hard-coded strings. You want to make sure this it's loked. So let's take a look at our strings.dat key items dot. It might just be. It might just have something like this down here, where these are just localized. Yeah, let's look for Control F key. That's for the inputs. That's okay. So let me just go ahead and make. Okay, so let's just add a new property here. Let's just look for, scroll up here somewhere we have our items. Yeah, let's put it near, I think note is a, no, what? I guess Javier was pointing out there's still some things that need to be down here in the, it's not a full loc yet. These are the keys. These are the items. These are the weapons. Scrolls. And these are food. And then these are the start of the enchantment stuff. So let's just do something like, okay, Control C. Because there are some items that we actually that aren't defined in like a .dat file. Key, localized name, key, cool. Let me see. Pixel Titans Alt Zone says, "Does Delver support other languages?" Heck yes. Yeah. Let me show you. So what I can do. Let's go here. Before I forget, let me go to my example mods. Let me go to Dungeoneer, Assets, Mods. Let me just copy these out to my repo so I don't lose any changes. Let me go ahead and just delete this for the time being. What you can do is you can go to, I have that repo I was talking about earlier, this Delver example mods. You can just click clone or download and you can download the zip. And inside here, all of these here are mods. So what you can do is you just go to your mods directory, which is just a folder you create next to your binary. And for example, I can copy over the Spanish ones because Javier's done, his is, I think, is the most recently updated one. So you can copy that there. And then now when I launch Delver, it should be in Spanish. Yep, so pulsa cualquier tecla para empezar. You know, and then the nice thing too is it should not, and if it does, let me know. It shouldn't goof with your save data. You can just play. Oh no, what happened? Oh, it crashed again. This is something we have to deal with, is because I uninstalled a mod and my save file had that mod data in there. It wasn't quite sure what to do, so I think, Chad, I need to figure out. Let's borrar this. When you figure out what to do when you uninstall a mod and your save file requires that mod. Yeah, so I think, has he translated this stuff yet or no? No, that would require him to translate the start map, and I don't think he's done that yet. But I think these are. 5. Yep. And then, you know, all the item stuff. Yeah, which is it's pretty cool. It's a very lightweight kind of translation where it's just a big JSON object that has these entries here, and then the Delver engine will look up this value and it will replace it with this one. So what we do is we provide all the English language strings, which is again out on this repo. Like if you click here on language pack ENUS, there's a README here that kind of tells you like what this data, kind of what the shape of this data is, and then we have all the strings here that you can either there's maybe I don't know 300-400 different things you have to localize here. And the thing is that we're not really a text-heavy game, but there's just a lot of text in games. And then the trick is on the engine side of things is come on the engine side of things, we have a string manager class which knows how to load in this JSON object, and then you can just ask it for you ask it for a particular value, and it gives you back the translated value. Cool, Javier. Yeah, so he translated the NPC dialogue, so I think he means that if I were to go up and talk to some of those folks, they'll give the correct Hugar. So if I go to like the old guy here who talks a lot, his stuff should be translated. Yep, cool. And again, I think these notes too have also been translated. Yep. And again, I think that the translation is still probably a work in progress, but I think we've made pretty good strides towards getting a substantial amount of the game translatable. And I'm really excited to see players make mods that translate the game, which will be really cool. So this, let me see, the strings.dat, yeah. So I need to add key. That should be okay for now. And then need to make sure that the key honors that. So I need to do something like oh, what's it doing? Get key. So that should be just the wait, item. Let's see. Yeah, item type key, and then the name is key. Cool. So that should be enough for that. So Luical is commenting on the changes for genders and numbers, and it works really well. Cool. Yeah, let me commit this, and then I'll talk about that for some translator or folks who are interested in doing translations. So let me just fire this up to make sure I haven't broken the world. Okay. Okay, that loads. Let me launch the editor. And because, so if you notice, I added a new English string for key. So what should happen is because there's no Spanish translation for that yet, it should just give back the English one. That's how things are designed, and that's how it ought to work. So let's test that out. So here's our key. We play key. Yeah. Yeah, keys are odd. They're kind of a special case thing, but since folks are asking about them, I'll let you have them. Play around with them, and if you have any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, let us know. So let's do that. So we got the key that uses the string manager to get its translated text. We added a translated entry into the strings.dat, and this just adds it to. So adding a few requests. requested entities to the editor, right click, menu, commit, and sync. Okay. All right, now to talk about, so Javier and Louis are talking about, so English doesn't really have a concept of adjectives and nouns particularly matching. So if I were to say, for example, the tall boy or the tall girl, I don't change tall. But if I were to say like alto niño or alta niña, you see how I changed alta, which means, or alto, which means tall, to agree with the noun that it modifies. And also that also goes for count as well. So like altos niños, to go with the correct number. And in English we don't have that concept, but other languages do. So I've made some changes to support that, and let's talk about it. And let's actually look at Javier's mod, because he actually uses it a little bit, and I think it's a good thing to look at. Also, I need to update this stuff too. So let's just do all this all over the place, or let's just do this right now, just while I'm talking about it. So if you look at the strings.dat, let's look for forms. This is not the, oh, this is the US one. Come on, Joshua. Let's look at Javier's stuff. So this ES is the Spanish strings.dat. So for the items in Delver, these are the only things the form applies to. Is so for example, these are the game starting pants, and this is we call them pants or pantalones. And then he's defined the form as a masculine plural. And then what's interesting is the adjectives that go along with that. We just have a forms property, and the forms property is on each adjective. So for masculine plural, we would use rapidos. So if we wanted quick pants, we would have rapidos pantalones. But if we needed like masculine singular, we'd have rapido. But what's cool is these really aren't hard-coded. So if your language has a concept of like neuter or other things that I haven't thought of yet, what you can do is this form property on our items is just a string, so feminine plural. So when we look to match up adjectives to that, we just use that string, and we look for that string in here, so the feminine plural, and then we would just give it mágicas. So the thing is if we look at this and you have it supplied a matching form for this adjective, we'll just go ahead and default back to this localized name version. So hopefully that makes sense to folks. I guess I'll work on docking this real quick, and hopefully that will make it even more clear. Real quick, Messi Nessie says, dumb question, but is this a custom engine you've built? So I have not built it. So folks who have joined, within the past couple hours, I'm working on my game Delver. Delver is a procedural fantasy dungeon crawler. It is a passion project. There have been two of us working on this project for 4+ years now. We work on it in our free time. We have no budget and no time to work on it, but we're making the best darn thing we can with those constraints. And yes, we have written our own engine. It initially started off as a hobby project. And the other developer, Chad, was writing the engine. I guess as engineers, we love writing engines for fun. And this one just kind of the game that he was making with it got a little bit of traction, and now this hobby project has become a product. So, I mean, a lot of the decisions we made when it was a hobby project are different than if it was a commercial project, but we have to kind of live with those decisions now. So, I mean, this project has been an interesting learning experience by which we learn things the hard way, because that's just how how you do it when you are kind of first getting your foot in the door. Real quick, let me take a quick bathroom break, and then I'll be back in just a moment. Let's do this. Let's do today. Let's say 14:08. I'm back. Okay. Messy Nessie says, how long did it take to get to this point? Like I said, we've been working on it 4 or so years. Chad worked on it about a year before pulling me on board. So we've been working on this a long time, but again, part-time the entire time. We've like when we first started working on this, we both had day jobs, and for the first, I've only been so right now I'm a stay-at-home father, and I've only been a stay-at-home father since my son was born 10 months ago. So, for like 2, 3 years of Delver, we were always doing this in our part-time, and I'm still doing it part-time because raising a child is a lot of work. Okay, so this is the ENUS uh, language pack in the example repo, and I have a README here that kind of talks about the different properties. So for each translation class, it has, this is the translation JSON object in essence is a hash map. It is just a string to object map, and the string here happens to be, it could be anything. This is supplied by us. Don't change this, otherwise the Delver engine won't be able to find the resource that it's looking for, and it will default to English. It won't crash, but it won't give you back what you think. Now this first line here also, this is it's called class, and it says com interrupt Dungeoneer game localized string. This is the class of the object. So this is basically used by our serializer, that when we turn it from JSON to a Java object, it knows what class to use. Again, this is a third-party requirement. If you change this, this will break, and it will probably break your entire translation mod, and none of your translations will come through, and it will just use English. The thing you care about most is this localized name property. So this is where you would translate this text here. So to whatever language you wanted to translate it to, you drop that there. This comment field is not actually used by the game, but this is for the translator. So it would say something along the lines like, this describes, for me I use it a lot in the menu, so like this describes the menu when the player has changed a value, and this text reflects whether they want to commit it or not. So I just try to provide comments here as appropriate to explain what this translated thing is, just to provide context. Sometimes too, if you look, like we have these things that are format strings. So like it's a curly brace 0 curly brace, and what this is we will you translate this part, but we swap out this 0 and this 1. So this is for a save slot. And so this curly brace 0 curly brace is the name of the dungeon level, and then curly brace 1 curly brace is the number of the dungeon level. So this gives you context as to what these formatters are doing here. This is Sometimes we use this in case some languages want to swap things around. If it makes more sense, that's how you do that. The guy behind Ghost of Tales is a two-man team. Wonder if you ever crossed paths. I have not. Maybe Chad has. Ghost of Tales looks really cool, and they are a small team. It just depends. Like, um, again, I don't really like. I go to PAX because PAX is basically in my backyard. I live up here in the Seattle area, so that's my chance to really kind of go out and network. I've only ever been to GDC once, and it's just because it's just it's expensive and it comes out of my own pocket, you know. Um, so let's go ahead and so I've kind of touched on the properties here, but I want to also add the let's edit this right now, right? README, edit. Yeah, so let's go ahead and we have two more properties to talk about. We have the form and forms. So the form property um, is used to describe the gender and count of a noun. This will be used to find a matching adjective. The form property will be only honored on items. And then forms, the forms proper is a object that maps a form to an adjective. I should probably provide examples. Um, uh, that would probably be good. Let's just copy this. And I'm just going to lift Javier's stuff, unfortunately. Well, I mean, it's a good example, so hopefully he doesn't mind. Item condition broken. And just the most basic sword. Also, Louis Carl, feel free to submit a pull request whenever you have your changes ready. I try to keep an eye out on these, but it might be a day or so before I get around to pull requests, so ping me if I see them unresponsive. Okay. trying to think of a better way to describe this, because basically it's doing some localization stuff that I think is important, but I need to kind of make sure that folks know this is um, what's going on here. Um, so the iron sword and then the condition broken. Yeah, I'll just refer to the example. So something along the lines, in the above example, the form is feminine singular. Do note that this property is just a string and can be whatever you like. So Louis Carl says, I'm translating the notes, figuring out how to translate sweet rolls and scones. So also another thing too is feel free to have some leeway. Like if you are translating Delver and some things just don't make sense. For example, we have an enchantment that's a +1, a +2, or a +3 magic modifier. So I think we have something like Sage, Mage, and Sorcerer. And if your language, those don't make sense, you can change what they are. Like if you have if there's a cultural term that kind of means what we're trying to mean, go for it, right? Like if like sweet rolls and scones aren't common in your native language, just try to find an equivalent. It doesn't have to be super accurate, as long as the context is okay. And also, okay. If an appropriate mapping cannot be found, the localized name property will be used. Cool. I think that's fine. Let me just read through it, make sure it's not craziness. So, form. The form property is used to describe the gender count of a noun. This will be used, how about when finding? Will be used to find, this will be used to find a matching adjective. The form property will be only honored on items. In the above example, the form is feminine singular. Do note that this property is just a string and can be whatever you like. Forms. The forms property is an object that maps a form to a translated string. The above example will map feminine singular to rota. If an appropriate mapping cannot be found, the localized name property will be used. That's probably okay for now. Let me just commit it. Again, this is just my documentation on my my sample mod repo for folks who are interested in doing translations. This is so if you look at the language pack ENUS, this the README here can kind of hopefully guide you through the process. If not, reach out to me. I try to be as responsive as I can. My little helper robot in chat has recently talked about it, but you can always email me at joshua.skelton@gmail.com. I will try to get back to you within a reasonable amount of time, but sometimes it does take me a day or so to get back, depending upon like our time delta. Cool. All right, so that's some loc work, and again, this is the example mods repo. You can find it about these character story pack things I'm proposing, which is just it's kind of like how Dark Souls does storytelling, where it's a character and all their gear. And it kind of just scatters it throughout the world, and it kind of tells a story through you just finding their stuff. So this is a magic user. It's all of their gear, so it has some pretty sweet. Like he has his hat and his boots, and like his sword and his grimoire, and his wand. There's broken versions of those and a ring, which I think is fun. It's cool. It's a little different than what you find in Delver. And then we have this is just this is like a boilerplate version of a dungeon section. So if you wanted to create a new area for the dungeon, you could use this as a starting point to see how they slot into the new dungeon system. This mod is the gun mod, which is fun. Let me just play that real quick because it's crazy. So let me go ahead and uninstall the Spanish language pack. Let me just look at. I thought I had it somewhere. Yeah, here we go. This is the. Let me just copy guns over here. So if you want to hop right into the gun stuff, you launch the editor and you go File, Open, and Mods, Guns. I have a test level. It's called Shooting Range. And then I have a pump shotgun, a double barrel shotgun, a cannon, which is like it's like a crazy shotgun. I have a machine gun. I have a revolver, and I have a triple barrel machine gun. So this kind of gives you an idea. Oh, what happened? No pointer exception. Add entities from markers. Curious. Get random monster. Interesting. Oh, I think Chad may have changed how we actually handle monster spawning. Oh, because the theme is different now. Let me just double check that. That's curious. Ooh, set theme. Set theme. Yeah, that is actually new. So, so Chad added a new level thing with you can actually set the theme, which is really handy for the generator stuff now, which I guess I didn't realize until now. Levels, shooting range, and then let me. So I think you need to make sure to set the theme so it knows where to pull these monsters from. Set theme. I have an interplay mode. I should go to my breakpoint. Theme is dungeon. Let me step over that. Throwable T. I'm getting a null pointer exception somewhere. Let me just debug this real quick and see what's going on, because we are making some changes to how, again, how you can kind of slot in these monster themes and stuff like that. So. File open. Guns, levels, there we go, load. Set theme. Start Camp Undead. Yeah, this should, because this will dynamically scan all the themes that you have installed, and it will let you pick from them. So Dungeon's what I want. Set theme, and then play. And over here we have this game. Get monster. Get random monster for Dungeon. So if I step into there, get the Monster Manager instance. Monster Manager. Okay. Let's step over that, step back in. Weird. It looks like it. Get random monster. Looks like, is the monster manager null? Let me just do a little investigative work here. Okay. So this is of type monster manager. So monster manager mm equals game.get monster manager. And then this can be mm.getRandomMonster. Let's save and debug that. There we go. File open. Mods. Levels, there we go. I think it has the dungeon theme by default, so if I hit play, I'll hit my breakpoint, and the theme in fact is dungeon. Is MM instantiated? It says it's a monster manager. It has 6 monsters because these are the, okay. So why is it not like stepping into get random monster? Let me just add a breakpoint there. Game instance. So player is null. That seems okay. So that's probably why it's barfing. Strange. Okay. Weird. We should have a player somewhere, right? Player. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how the editor. Strange. Let's go to our call stack. I guess for the time being, I can just hard code this to 1, which would be fine. So I'm pretty sure that is just an integer that indicates player's level. And we can just kind of not worry about this for the time being and let I'll talk to chat about sorting this out. File open, mods, levels, shooting range. Okay, now if I hit play, hit my breakpoint. If I step over, yeah, that looks fine. Continue. Oh, is it going to barf somewhere else? So it looks like we're not instantiating a player, which is weird. So I was just using this earlier today and it was working just fine. Like, that works. But when I open up a mod level, that does not work. What's it doing? So yeah, it's curious. Why in some instances it does grab a player, in some instances it does not. So let me just undo all these changes, and then let me take a look at the history of this. What's the best way to do that? I can just do it on GitHub, I suppose. Okay. Delver. Sorry, here I'm trying to interrupt, engineer, game, level, history. Yeah, I'm not sure why this would have impacted. I'm not sure why that would impact it. I think editor. So it has an instance. Then player, where does player get? This is player.init. We need to figure out where the player gets initted. Weird. Let's try. This is in just game.game. Let me see if this is doing something strange in the editor. File open, mods, levels, load. Alrighty. And then we'll hit play. Okay. Why did it not hit the... Did it not... It's obviously exercising a different code path if I didn't hit the breakpoint that I thought I would. Try to see where we assign basically where we're assigning this property. Okay, let me stop and then debug again. File open, mods, levels, nope, levels, shooting range, load. So I really want to show off the shooting range because it's some craziness. I'm just curious what happened. So instance is this. Okay, we're getting to where why does it not? Okay, so it can't do a breakpoint on a try? What happened? Step out. Sure. Heatmod is saying, can the shooter mod be used with the Sci Fi mod? Heck yeah. If you look at all the mods on the example mod repo, they're designed such that they can just kind of all be thrown together. You can do total conversions, and that kind of uses the old style of Delver modding. But the problem when you do it the old way is it's not compatible, and it will stomp all over everybody else's mods. But if you follow the practices I'm showing in the example mods repository, ideally, when you can put your mod up on the Steam Workshop when we get that ready, and then you can install as many mods as you want, and they all should just kind of lock together. And you can have as many dungeon areas, as many crazy item packs, enemy packs, all that should just kind of get smashed together nicely. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why. So I know Chad made he's making some changes to how the player start inventory works, and I think we're moving towards making that a definable thing. Because I know some folks have requested that. So that might be the issue I'm seeing here might be with those changes. So step. I think it was this load from editor. So jump, yep. So I can remove this one. So if I step in here, fade, 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 fade. So 9, fade, fade. Oh, okay. So yeah. So it looks like there's just a bad interleave here, where so we load from editor before we actually have a player. So just to simply repro this, I should be able to take care of Hawaii Beach. So I should be able to do this. I should be able to create a mod, or create a room, and I should be able to hit play. Oh, I still have breakpoints turned on, but yeah, let's do that. And everything should be hunky-dory because there are no monsters. But as soon as I add, if I right-click and go to marker, monster, it should crash now because we're trying to pull off some player properties before we have a player. Yeah. So that seems to be the issue. I think all we have to do, really, is just where we try to... Here. So this level load from editor, if I move that after the player initialization, we should be okay. And then this level num, where is this actually used? Okay, so I'll just move this whole chunk, because they were logically grouped earlier and I don't want to separate them. So let's try that. Let's see if putting the load from editor after instantiating the player helps fix this issue. Okay, so let's run. Okay, let's do our quick little repro. So when I say repro, that's a term folks use, or at least engineers use to, it's a shortening of reproduce. So often when we have issues, we try to reproduce them. So if I hit play, cool, nice. It was just a interesting timing of so the game was trying to use properties off of the player before the player had been instantiated. So it was not liking that. So that should fix that. And then now we can actually get back to the fun stuff. Yeah, there we go. So weird. So I'm getting all the entities player get item text. Interesting. Something's going on here. Because this usually fails when this should just default to, oh, I need shells. Yeah, curious. I wonder if this is done. Yeah, so it looks like the string manager actually hasn't been instantiated yet. Yeah, so what happens is that's part of the design of the string manager. So how we've designed it, if you look at the let's look at strings.dat. A lot of these values correspond to kind of where they live in code. So screens.gameoverscreen wintext7. This is to help Chad and I figure out where this text actually lives. And the string manager is written such that if you give it one of these and it doesn't know what it is, it will just return it back as the thing you asked for. Um, so this is probably the case of which like the string manager just simply is not being instantiated at all. So if I were to put a breakpoint in, say, string manager, get. If I were to look at something in play mode, I bet you that the string dictionary is empty or null.
Hello?
Okay, I guess I'm not in debug mode. So let's start it like that. So yeah, so localized strings is empty, so it's a upsize 0, and then I'm just returning back the key. What I need to do is I need to figure out, because this, why is this not being initted? Because this should get called in 2 different places. Find usages. String manager.init. So it should be being called right there. Let me just step through all this stuff. Okay, so step into. So step into mod manager. So we have a mod manager. We're looking for load localized strings. So we found a couple of mods. Interesting. So it used to not care about this. Let me look at my logic here. Yup. So mod file data strings.dat. If mod file dot exists, so it does exist. That's throwing, saying error reading file strings.dat. Did I break my strings.dat? Oh no. That's the last thing I changed. Let me, real quick, I can copy it all, and then I can go to just a JSON beautifier, and I can paste it in there and hit process. I broke something. Why is there there's just a W hanging out in there? Yikes! No, there's just a W right here. I don't know why. Hopefully I didn't commit that change. That'd be embarrassing. Open mods. I guess it is on us to make sure that we keep the English strings in good shape. There we go. Now everything's fixed. Yeah. So yeah. So all of that did just to show you that you could shoot bad guys with a shotgun if you were so inclined. I'm really curious now if I goofed up our English strings. Let me take a look at Delver. No, it looks like something I may have just added accidentally. So this, I haven't changed anything, so I can discard that. But here, I want to keep, let me just add this. So, say fixing null ref. monster markers. We're attempting to use player data before player had been instantiated. Commit and sync. Small change, but it should fix some issues. So Adapunk says, maybe one day try to use monogame C# and make Delver 2. You know, I don't know. I have mixed thoughts about that, right? Like, I think a couple of things. Like, let me just grab my double barrel and just blast folks. So the double barrel is like the Doom 2 double barrel, where it's not a linear progression of damage. It's actually like more closer to 3 times. 3 times the damage, and has a much larger spread, which allows you just to shred stuff, which is pretty cool. And then in this cannon is the ultimate shotgun, but I went the opposite direction on it, where it uses the most amount of shells, but it keeps it in the tightest grouping, so you can really. It's basically like an insta-kill. It is just, I forget how many shots it actually is. These are prefabs. If I right-click, Entity, Example Guns, Cannon, I think it does something like, yeah, it does 16, has 16 pellets it shoots out, which is way more than any of the shotgun. And then over here on this side, we have the bullet-based weapons. So we have the machine gun, which is what you expect. I don't think that the sounds probably need updating, but I'm not a sound person, so if there is a sound person out there who can do better sounds and would love to donate them to us, that'd be sweet. Otherwise, I'm just not going to worry about it. And then the revolver is just, so this just illustrates you can add a example gun, machine gun, and there's a property on it called automatic, which is either true or false. So you can have an automatic, or over here, if you place a example gun as a revolver, it is not automatic. And this cycle time property is how fast the bullets come out. So with the revolver, it's just a semi-auto. It's like not quite as fast as you can squeeze a trigger, but pretty darn fast. It does quite a bit of damage. I think it's a little bit more damage than the machine gun, but not a whole lot. And then, of course, lifted from Nuclear Throne is the triple machine gun, which basically functions as like an auto shotgun. It just shoots 3 shots at a time. It does shoot 3 bullets at a time, so it does. You go through those pretty quick if you're not careful. But it's a lot of fun. And like I was mentioning, I forget to who, but you can just run this with Delver, and it will just let you use guns in Delver, which is silly. But it's fun. So right now they are hooked up to the loot drop system, so they will just drop whenever you have a die roll that gives you a ranged weapon, there's a chance that you'll get a shotgun or something so similar. So I'm just going to start off by giving myself a shotgun and some shells. How about more shells than 5? How about a box of shells? And let's just play a little Delver with a shotgun. Our sounds are done by Power Up Audio out of Vancouver. I'm pretty sure they're out of Vancouver. But Power Up Audio, they are wonderful folks. They are quick, and they make excellent audio. I've tried to to balance this as I can. So generally with a shotgun, if you do get all the pellets on an enemy, it probably will kill them. But if you don't, you'll just wing them. And then some enemies obviously have more health than others. And then I think Chad recently hooked up on the guns that they are just like any other item. So you can find like magical guns. So you can find like a shotgun of poison or a revolver of paralyze, which is pretty cool. I doubt I'll find one here on my little stream, but it's nice to know that, um, like if you just like for as from a modder's perspective, if you just define new items, like the enchant system will just kind of work naturally with it. You don't have to do a lot of work to actually hook it up at all. Yeah, I mean definitely the guns are overpowered. Like especially, I mean the hit scan ones are so nice because um, you just click and shoot. And it also reminds me, I guess Chad also added projectile-based firearms, which I have not made any content for, which could be cool because that way you can get like plasma guns and stuff like that, which would be maybe another thing to do for another day. Because yeah, again, leading up to the Steam Workshop update, I want to make sure that there's plenty of cool mod content out there, but I don't want to waste a lot of time on stuff that people won't ever use. So it's a trade-off. Okay. Um, Hemon says, "Are you upgrading magic because the guns are magic?" No, the guns fall underneath the range category. So if I were to want to find, so for those of you who don't know, in Delver, your stats actually influence to a small degree the loot drop system. So if I were to put more points into agility, there would be a slight favoring of ranged weapons, and the guns count as ranged. So if you're playing the gun mod and you want to see as many guns as you possibly can, I would drop points into agility. But I think I just randomly clicked. I don't even realize I picked the magic mod. Thank you, Pixel Titans Alt Zone. It was really fun. Just again, like this whole Steam Workshop stuff has been an excuse for me to. Woo! It's a Warren shotgun. Who needs a Warren shotgun? And actually, my current shotgun is broken, and I'm out of shells, and I'm in a very bad situation. Let's paralyze him. So yeah, so the durability system is in effect also on the guns. I definitely need to tweak their durability. How much damage? Ooh, more shotguns. So 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2. I guess the shotgun does so little damage that doesn't really matter. Like the shotgun actually does damage by having a lot of pellets. So I guess the durability doesn't really affect the shotgun very much at all. Box of shells. There we go. Yeah, it would be cool to do like a Doom-like mod. We don't really have colored key cards, but with if you're watching the stream earlier, I did check in stuff that allows you to do keys and doors, so you certainly could do something similar to that, but not exactly how Doom does it. But again, a closer approximation if folks were interested in that sort of thing. And just having the hit scan weapons is fun. I should probably, I really should just for fun, because I've been stuck in this whole sci-fi dungeon for a while. Maybe I'll make some projectile-based firearms for a change of pace. Ah. And Javier is preview for, ooh, so Javier is, I'll pop this over. Yeah, because Javier is making copy image. He said he's making an item mod, which is really cool. So there we go. Oh yeah, it looks like he's made two-handed swords and axes. So that's not bad, Javier. I'm not sure if you're a pixel artist, but that's pretty decent there. I really like this axis right here. It's pretty sweet. I love the just the shape of it. I think to me it has a lot of weight to it, which is really cool. I like how you've stuck with using the same color palette. I think it makes them kind of agree really well. Yeah, it's very cool, and you even added the broken textures, which is nice too. It's my palette, I suppose, and you just modified my art. But like this stuff, the axes are entirely new. I don't know if I'm going to add axes to Delver or not. Like part of me wants to, and part of me doesn't. Like because really, the melee weapons, we have a lot of them, and they're not all highly differentiated. So it would just be like a reskinning of a sword, maybe with some timing tweaks. But I mean, is that interesting? I don't know. Obviously, Javier found it interesting enough to actually go ahead and do it himself. That's cool. Um, I'm excited for that. Javier, if you have you tried uploading it to Steam yet? I know Chris has uploaded some of his mods out there. Um, it just, I guess the difficult thing right now is because we don't have the workshop stuff turned on. It's kind of hard to look at your stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, and just to kind of, I guess, to preview let's go back to Delve Edit and let's look at the gun stuff again. Because there is the projectile-based firearms that I haven't even talked about because I don't have examples for yet. Level, shooting range, load. And here under the right-click menu, if you just go to Entity, Guns, and then you go Auto Projectile Gun Wand, and then just add under Guns, Ammo. So how the guns and ammo system works is pretty basic, really. So on the gun, you define an ammo type, and then on the ammo, you just define the stack type. And as long as those agree, they will work. So for the bullet-based weapons, they take an ammo type of bullet, and for the ammo, there's a stack type of bullet. And the same thing for shells. So this is how you can have any number of ammo and weapon types that use them. And you can also change like the ammo consumed per shot to on a weapon if you want. But I think Chad cranked this up like to crazy levels. But this is basically like a plasma gun, which feels pretty cool. And again, something like plasma, you might want to make it really low damage. But over here on the ammo, you might want to tweak how much it actually has. So maybe, is that not a property we expose? Stack type. We should definitely expose that. Let's fix that right now. Count is not, so this needs to be an edit a property. I think that's all I need to do. I believe. Let me take a look at another item. Let's look at weapon. Yeah, just mark it as an edited property. So let me stop and then reload that. I guess Javier, I guess I'm trying to just say that I've seen far worse programmer art, so I'm pleasantly surprised with what you've been able to create using my stuff. Yep, Hemon. I think I answered your question, but yeah, you can certainly have different kinds of bullets. So entity guns, auto projectile gun wand, and then over here entity guns ammo. And I think now the ammo should have a count property. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Cool. So again, if I wanted the plasma gun, I could make the damage really low, but then I could also just always hand out more. Just make the ammo stacks have more than the other ammo stacks do. So, you could, yeah, or whatever. And of course, you have the whole range of properties to play with this, so you should be able to select here. And like you can change the damage, you can change the knockback, you can change the handedness. Guns should be two-handed. I've been kind of doing that. You can change for guns. They have some unique properties, like you can change the number of projectiles and the spread. So if you didn't want it to have perfect, I think it's more interesting when there's not perfect. When it's not perfectly, like the shots don't always perfectly go in the center. So a little bit of variety, I think, helps. But I guess it all depends on the kind of weapon you're designing, because I mean, a weapon that always hits perfectly where you're aiming is very powerful. But if you make it just a little bit of variation, I think it helps kind of try to find a good balance of things. Human says type of bullets. No. So the basically how this works is, in order to use a gun, you must have ammo of the ammo type it cares about. Um, so if you do, then it will decrement that stack by this number. So it looks for, so let's call this cells. And then here this is cells. So what this means now is I can pick this up and I can't attack because I don't have any cells. And I pick this up and I still can't attack because it's the wrong ammo type. So if I pick up the, well, I guess that they're incorrectly named, but then I could fire. So you guys do note that the name of the stack and the actual stack type are different. So this could be called like box of cells, right? And there we go. So that would make a little bit more sense. And maybe it's worthwhile on the actual well, I guess if you design it fine, like the gun wand, maybe we should indicate whether what type of stack type this pulls from. Like does this pull from like bullets or shells or cells or whatever you make up, right? So maybe that would be useful. Like certain things, like shells to shotguns and bullets to like revolvers and stuff makes sense, but maybe that would be good to call out. But yeah, like different types of ammo for one particular gun is just not supported. Again, like we had this gun system in place for several years now, and we're just trying to we're cleaning it up a little bit, and then we're just creating this mod so folks can play with it. We're not trying to add a lot of development time into it. Okay, folks, it looks like it is after 3 o'clock. I've been streaming for 3 hours, and I think I'm going to call it a day. I do have family time to go hang out with my kiddo and my wife. I really appreciate you folks taking the time to ask good questions and hang out while I work. I think I checked in some good changes today. I got a little bit of work done on my example mods, got some the Loke stuff documented, which is helpful. I got some fixes pushed into Delver. So overall, it's been a productive stream. Again, I want to thank everybody who has purchased Delver. That directly goes to support Chad and I in our endeavors. So I really appreciate all of you folks who have done that. Also, thank you to the folks who just are regulars and show up on my stream, or you, if this is the first time you're watching my stream, thank you. I really look forward to Sundays every week because streaming is fun and it's a really interesting way to work. And I appreciate all the feedback and the support that you folks provide. Let me think. I think that's about it. I should be... next Sunday. Yeah. So next Sunday, I am, I guess, doing what they call a workcation. So I'm going to a cabin in the mountains, and I'm going to try to get some work done. So I've been told the cabin has Wi-Fi. So I fully intend to stream Delver Development next Sunday. But if it doesn't happen, I will probably let folks know either Friday or Saturday when I actually get to the cabin, and if the Wi-Fi is of good enough quality to stream or not. So just to give you folks a heads up, I will definitely try to stream next Sunday, but it might not happen. Thank you, folks. Thanks, Pixel Titans Alt Zone. Whoever that is, if it's Tom or Steven or Nick or any other people on the team I'm forgetting, apologies, but you guys are rad. You're awesome. And Louis Carl, yeah. Louis Carl, yep. Louis Carl is actually the gentleman that we're both going to lock ourselves into the cabin and just work like crazy. Workcation, I guess I think it's a stupid name, but I don't have any better way to describe it. Basically, the idea is to go to a place where there are fewer distractions and to really hunker down and get work done. You can think of it kind of like a mini Stugan, just like over the course of a couple days. Depending upon how this goes and how the location works out, I'd love to do like an indie summer camp sometime in the future, but I'd have to figure out tons of logistics to make that work. But yeah, thanks everybody for the support. I will see you next Sunday if the cabin has Wi-Fi, and if it doesn't, I will let you know. Have a good week and take care, everybody.